Owe de anangwe, aye de anangwe, owe de anangwe.
Religious leaders, policy makers, and all of them, we come all together holistically, make sure that issues to do with the youth, sexual and reproductive rights, and GBV are all implemented.
It's been so empowering to interact with my peers and as well as people who have already walked these paths ahead of us to get insights from them and learn from them as well.
RHNK, thank you so much. I'm hoping that next year Lesotho will be represented and that as the progress goes on, we will be able to have a conference like this in my country one day. I am super excited. Thank you, RHNK. Woo!
So we've learned something new in Kenya and we would like to show you. What is it?
The vibes are amazing. There's so much adrenaline pumping, there's so much youthful energy.
There is nothing for us without us.
I have learned that religion is not a barrier to applying SRHR in different countries. There are definitely ways in which we can integrate it without allowing it to stop us from the progress that we want to see.
One of the major key takeaways is that we are no longer being sidelined as youth. We are now being included in conversations that were not meant for us before. We are now feeling like this is our conversation. It is not something that is being said to us, it's something that we are also saying for ourselves.
This is my first time being in a space where I can be so outspoken. I can talk about abortion, I can talk about post-abortion care without any fear, without any stigma, without any fear of judgment.
What I've learned is just about consent and make sure that we have meaningful relationships in terms of youth and make even the partners, religious leaders, policy makers, and all of them, we come all together holistically, make sure that issues to do with the youth, sexual and reproductive rights, and GBV are all implemented.
It's been so empowering to interact with my peers and as well as people who have already walked these paths ahead of us to get insights from them and learn from them as well.
RHNK, thank you so much. I'm hoping that next year Lesotho will be represented and that as the progress goes on, we will be able to have a conference like this in my country one day. I am super excited. Thank you, RHNK. Woo!
So we've learned something new in Kenya and we would like to show you. What is it?
The vibes are amazing. There's so much adrenaline pumping, there's so much youthful energy.
There is nothing for us without us.
I have learned that religion is not a barrier to applying SRHR in different countries. There are definitely ways in which we can integrate it without allowing it to stop us from the progress that we want to see.
One of the major key takeaways is that we are no longer being sidelined as youth. We are now being included in conversations that were not meant for us before. We are now feeling like this is our conversation. It is not something that is being said to us, it's something that we are also saying for ourselves.
This is my first time being in a space where I can be so outspoken. I can talk about abortion. I can talk about post-abortion care without any fear, without any stigma, without any fear of judgment.
What I've learned is just about consent and make sure that we have meaningful relationships in terms of youth and make even the partners, religious leaders, policy makers and all of them, we come all together holistically, make sure that issues to do with the youth, sexual and reproductive health and rights and GBV are all implemented.
It's been so empowering to interact with my peers and as well as people who have already walked these paths ahead of us to get insights from them and learn from them as well.
RHNK, thank you so much. I'm hoping that next year Lesotho will be represented and that as the progress goes on, we will be able to have a conference like this in my country one day. I am super excited. Thank you, RHNK. Woo!
So we've learned something new in Kenya and we would like to show you. What is it?
The vibes are amazing. There's so much adrenaline pumping, there's so much youthful energy.
There is nothing for us without us.
I have learned that religion is not a barrier to applying SRHR in different countries. There are definitely ways in which we can integrate it without allowing it to stop us from the progress that we want to see.
One of the major key takeaways is that we are no longer being sidelined as youth. We are now being included in conversations that were not meant for us before. We are now feeling like this is our conversation. It is not something that is being said to us, it's something that we are also saying for ourselves.
This is my first time being in a space where I can be so outspoken. I can talk about abortion. I can talk about post-abortion care without any fear, without any stigma, without any fear of judgment.
What I've learned is just about consent and make sure that we have meaningful relationships in terms of youth and make even the partners, religious leaders, policy makers and all of them, we come all together holistically, make sure that issues to do with the youth, sexual and reproductive health and rights and GBV are all implemented.
It's been so empowering to interact with my peers and as well as people who have already walked these paths ahead of us to get insights from them and learn from them as well.
RHNK, thank you so much. I'm hoping that next year Lesotho will be represented and that as the progress goes on, we will be able to have a conference like this in my country one day. I am super excited. Thank you, RHNK. Woo!
So we've learned something new in Kenya and we would like to show you. What is it?
The vibes are amazing. There's so much adrenaline pumping, there's so much youthful energy.
There is nothing for us without us.
I have learned that religion is not a barrier to applying SRHR in different countries. There are definitely ways in which we can integrate it without allowing it to stop us from the progress that we want to see.
One of the major key takeaways is that we are no longer being sidelined as youth. We are now being included in conversations that were not meant for us before. We are now feeling like this is our conversation. It is not something that is being said to us, it's something that we are also saying for ourselves.
This is my first time being in a space where I can be so outspoken. I can talk about abortion. I can talk about post-abortion care without any fear, without any stigma, without any fear of judgment.
What I've learned is just about consent and make sure that we have meaningful relationships in terms of youth and make even the partners, religious leaders, policy makers and all of them, we come all together holistically, make sure that issues to do with the youth, sexual and reproductive health and rights and GBV are all implemented.
It's been so empowering to interact with my peers and as well as people who have already walked these paths ahead of us to get insights from them and learn from them as well.
RHNK, thank you so much. I'm hoping that next year Lesotho will be represented and that as the progress goes on, we will be able to have a conference like this in my country one day. I am super excited. Thank you, RHNK. Woo!
So we've learned something new in Kenya and we would like to show you. What is it?
The vibes are amazing. There's so much adrenaline pumping, there's so much youthful energy.
There is nothing for us without us.
I have learned that religion is not a barrier to applying SRHR in different countries. There are definitely ways in which we can integrate it without allowing it to stop us from the progress that we want to see.
One of the major key takeaways is that we are no longer being sidelined as youth. We are now being included in conversations that were not meant for us before. We are now feeling like this is our conversation. It is not something that is being said to us, it's something that we are also saying for ourselves.
This is my first time being in a space where I can be so outspoken. I can talk about abortion. I can talk about post-abortion care without any fear, without any stigma, without any fear of judgment.
What I've learned is just about consent and make sure that we have meaningful relationships in terms of youth and make even the partners, religious leaders, policy makers and all of them, we come all together holistically, make sure that issues to do with the youth, sexual and reproductive health and rights and GBV are all implemented.
It's been so empowering to interact with my peers and as well as people who have already walked these paths ahead of us to get insights from them and learn from them as well.
RHNK, thank you so much. I'm hoping that next year Lesotho will be represented and that as the progress goes on, we will be able to have a conference like this in my country one day. I am super excited. Thank you, RHNK. Woo!
Energy.
There is nothing for us without us.
I have learned that religion is not a barrier to applying SRHR in different countries. There are definitely ways in which we can integrate it without allowing it to stop us from the progress that we want to see.
One of the major key takeaways is that we are no longer being sidelined as youth. We are now being included in conversations that were not meant for us before. We are now feeling like this is our conversation. It is not something that is being said to us. It's something that we are also saying for ourselves.
This is my first time being in a space where I can be so outspoken. I can talk about abortion. I can talk about post-abortion care without any fear, without any stigma, without any fear of judgment.
What I've learned is just about consent and make sure that we have meaningful relationships in terms of youth and make even the partners, religious leaders, policy makers and all of them, we come all together holistically, make sure that issues to do with the youth, sexual and reproductive health and rights and GBV are all implemented.
It's been so empowering to interact with my peers and as well as people who have already walked these paths ahead of us to get insights from them and learn from them as well.
RHNK, thank you so much. I'm hoping that next year Lesotho will be represented and that as the progress goes on, we will be able to have a conference like this in my country one day. I am super excited. Thank you, RHNK. Woo!
I'll start off with a story. And I want to talk about Amina. Amina is not here today, but I want you to hold her in your mind as we start off this conference and for the days to come, because she is the reason we are all here today. Amina was 16 years old when she found out she was pregnant. She was in Form 3. She had a dream that was so loud, and the dreams were very specific. She wanted to be an engineer, and this she had told her teacher. She had also told her mother, because girls share a lot with their mothers. She had even written it on a piece of paper, and she had placed it just the way we stick notes, just beside our bed. One day she found out she was pregnant. And the first thing Amina did was to take down the note that she had put beside her bed. The note was always to remind her who she wanted to be. And not because her dream died, but because she had been taught by the systems, by the silence, by the absence of the services and information that girls like her needed to not keep their dreams. She, of course, did not know where to go. She did not know who to talk to. She was afraid of the clinic, because if she went to the clinics, she'll be turned away, or she'll be asked, "You're only 16. Where is the person that is supposed to give consent? So where is the guardian?" She was also scared to go to school, because, of course, the teachers were going to send her away, because in school, people that are supposed to be in school are not supposed to be people that are expecting to be mothers. And so she stayed silent. She stayed pregnant, and Amina stayed afraid. Amina is not a girl, is not one girl. I officially welcome you to the 9th RHNK Pan-African Adolescent and Youth Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights Conference.
We are gathered here because challenges exist in adolescents and young persons. In Africa, we still have the challenges of teenage pregnancy, HIV infections, gender-based violence, and drug and substance abuse. We gather so that we try to exchange policies, learn from each other what is working so that we can put interventions to mitigate the challenges which are already with us.
If we do not invest in adolescent and youth sexual and reproductive,
I want to talk about Amina. Amina was 16 years old when she found out she was pregnant. She was in Form 3. She had a dream that was so loud, and these dreams were very specific. She wanted to be an engineer. She had even written it on a piece of paper. I want to talk about Amina. Amina was 16 years old when she found out she was pregnant. She was in Form 3. She had a dream that was so loud, and these dreams were very specific. She wanted to be an engineer. She had even written it on a piece of paper, and she had placed it just the way we stick notes. One day she found out she was pregnant. And the first thing Amina did was to take down the note that she had put beside her bed. Not because her dream died, but because she had been taught by the systems, by the silence, by the absence of the services and information that girls like her needed to not keep their dreams. She of course did not know where to go. She did not know who to talk to. She was afraid of the clinic because, I mean, if she went to the clinics, she'll be turned away or she'll be asked, you're only 16. And so she stayed silent. She stayed pregnant, and Amina stayed afraid. Amina is not one girl. She's hundreds of thousands of girls across our continent every single year. And I think for every meetings we go to, we hear of the numbers. And Amina represents girls that are very brilliant, capable and full of potential, who are not failed by their own choices, but our collective failure to build systems that see them, serve them, and protect them. Ladies and gentlemen, Amina is the reason we are here today.
I am Amina.
For Amina.
I am Amina.
For Amina.
For Amina.
I am Amina.
For Amina.
I am Amina.
For Amina.
I am Amina.
And in one go, let's shout, I am Amina. And for the friends of Amina, who are we here for? For?
Amina.
For? Thank you very much. Good people, welcome to the home stretch. This is the closing ceremony, the closing session for the conference that we've been having for the last 3 days for the adolescents and the youths. The 9th RHNK Pan-African Adolescent and Youth Conference, I should say scientific conference, 2026. Karibuni sana. How are you feeling? When are you going home?
Moi?
Oui?
Non, je reste ici avec Amina.
For Amina, with Amina. So you're staying here?
Oui, je reste ici avec Amina.
Okay.
Oui.
Are you ready, though, to release everyone else to go home?
Oui, bien sûr.
Yeah.
Oui, bien sûr. C'est 4 jours de dialogue, 4 jours de conversation, d'intervention. C'est 4 jours de collaboration, invention, leadership de la jeunesse africaine, excellence africaine, diversité, inclusivité, donc, et solidarité africaine. Donc oui, nous sommes prêts. Et maintenant, nous avons les réflexions. Réflexion, ça veut dire en swahili, tafakari. Tu connais
Tafakari.
Hein?
Tafakari.
Non, pas Rastafari. Tafakari.
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 Tafakari. Excellent, good people. So we are on the home stretch, and to start us off this afternoon without wasting a lot of time. So we are going to have speakers come on stage very, very briefly. Very, very briefly, and then we will move into one short panel with the young people, then have our closing plenary, and then we will dance. Thank you for being so gracious. We've been here so many times, and it's always lovely to be back. Karibu sana. A round of applause, good people, as he comes on stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The great ambassadors of Reproductive Health Network Kenya and all the partners that are in the house today, good afternoon. I don't know why the energy in the room is low. Good afternoon. That is better. My name is Jonathan Wepohulu, and I'm so privileged to be here this afternoon. This is not just an ordinary conference, especially being hosted by County 001. This is a great privilege to Mombasa. I just want to convey the appreciation from the Governor of Mombasa, Honorable His Excellency Governor Abdulsamad Sharif Nasir. He was held up, but he really wanted to be here because this is not just an ordinary forum. We've had great remarks as we bring Africa to Mombasa. Great remarks by the director of RHNK, that is Dr. Nelly Munyasia, who is a friend of mine. And she put the case as only she can make it. We also had a great speaker here, Dr. Saumu from South Africa. I enjoyed those remarks, and yesterday I missed the religious leaders trying to put up the case. All protocols observed. First of all, thank you for being in Mombasa. I know you have enjoyed the scenery within Mombasa, those of us who have taken photos at Pembe Zandovu, and I also feel that please don't leave this county without taking Madafu. Yeah? Because we've been discussing about sex. I saw somebody saying here, the discussions about sex, isn't it? Madafu will help you better. Somebody to translate it for me, to those of us who are not aware. Now, briefly, the young people are asking 3 questions. And I can see that this room has been struggling to answer those 3 questions. The same way we are also struggling in the county government of Mombasa. The first question is, who am I? They are struggling to find their identity. And the second question is, where do I fit in? That is a sense of belonging. We seem to be speaking a language as a world that is not resonating with the young people. And the third question is, what can I make? Trying to find purpose in a chaotic society that does not understand who they are. And if these 3 questions are not answered, young people have devoted themselves to things that do not fulfill their destiny. Early pregnancies have become the thing of the day because they are struggling to answer these questions. It is our duty as this conference to try and help these young people find that. For example, in Mombasa, we celebrate that early pregnancies are to the lowest, 11%. But I don't like working with statistics. Just a single young mother must be a concern for each one of us to rise up and fight. The governor of Mombasa has been concerned about this, His Excellency Abdulsamad Sharif Nasir. He looked at the many children who are dropping out of school, and especially day schools. And this was very concerning. And he came to the cabinet and shared with us what can we do to help the young people who are dropping out of school and engaging in drugs and mapanga, okay? A problem within the county of Mombasa, and early pregnancies and early marriages. He could not find a solution, and he had to move to the Ministry of Education because he was looking for a solution to help our young people thrive. And he came up with a decision that the county will be providing free feeding program to all the public schools, day schools within Mombasa. This was not an easy thing. He fought it very hard, but today we celebrate that school fees in all the public schools, day schools, has dropped to 10,000 shillings because of the effort that has been made by the governor of Mombasa. His Excellency Abdulswamad Sharif Nasir is also engaged community health promoters because we must continuously educate our society to understand that young mothers are not just ordinary children. The way we take them, that these are people in their space and they deserve health care. Even if they do not have ID cards, they must be put on SHA. And this is a fight that the governor is engaged in. And you, seated in this room, will help us find that solution to ensure that these young mothers are treated with dignity. The question that we ask ourselves tonight is how are we willing to stretch our hands? And I saw Dr. Menya saying in this room that this conference is not just going to be any ordinary conference, that is going to be the beginning of that change that we are seeking for. But the question that I ask you tonight is, as we step forward, the team is set. And I know there are Arsenal fans here in this room and also Manchester United fans. The team is set, but the players are missing. How are we going to play this game? How many young people in the house? By show of hands. The linesmen are in the room. The sponsors are in the room, but the players are missing. It is time for us to recruit the young people to join this fight so that we get to the end, because we believe that the young people deserve that right. And if we not step up this fight, we shall leave it to the young people like a lady at Technical University of Mombasa by the name Alima Nanyama, who is collecting young mothers and educating them on their rights and building capacity to reassure them of that hope. But if we choose to ignore them, there is another lot of a population that is willing to do what this Cape of mine is saying, that we have not listened to their voices enough, and so they will engage in violence. Are we willing to allow our children to go the violent way? Are we willing to allow our children to go the violent way? It is time for us to start listening to the young people to answer the three fundamental questions. Who am I? Where do I belong? And what is my purpose? Because if we stand up, all of us together, we shall reassure these young people of their rights. Thank you so much for choosing Mombasa, and God bless you all as you disperse. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wepuhulu, who is representing the County Government of Mombasa County 001. Asante sana. Thank you for hosting us. All right. Before we go into a panel for the young people, please allow me to welcome 4 wonderful humans on stage who've just been a great pillar of this conference. You know them by now, by their faces, by their names, by what they do. Dr. Gemma Davis from FIGU. Honorable Mohotu Mahalanyane from the Parliament of Lesotho, Dr. Richard Amenya, UNAIDS, and Dr. Elia. Dr. Elia, please come. All right, please. We'll not go on the podium, so let's stand here. Let's stand here and do this. Because if I ask you guys to go on the podium, we'll come. We'll make this very, very conversational. Gemma, I'm so sorry to put you on the spot. All right, so what we're going to do is yes, all of you together. We do a choir and then we dance, okay? Did you cram the song? Yeah, it's a choir and then we dance. So you two do the bass on this one. Then Gemma and I will do alto and soprano. Okay, good people. Actually, Honorable Mohoto, you do alto with Gemma here. Okay, very, very briefly. You guys have been here since day one, right? And we are closing now. What are you taking away? What is your reflection? What are you feeling? Are you challenged? Are you motivated? Did you learn something? But what are you taking back to your organizations and to your home countries? And if you're also not taking something, just let us know. And then, yes. And I will start with you, Gemma. What are you taking away?
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to say something. I have to confess, I'm not a medical doctor. It's very important, I'm clear about that, but I work with a lot of medical doctors at FIGO, which is the International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics. And I want to really thank RHNK for inviting FIGO and our colleagues at AYSRHR, which is the East Central and Southern African College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, to be part of this wonderful conference here with everyone in Mombasa. We were able to benefit from having a small side meeting. We were a little bit hidden the first couple of days of the conference. This is an existing community of practice that the gynecologists and obstetricians of the region have started a few years ago to really focus on SRHR and particularly the question of safe abortion, which we know is still a huge priority, and we've been hearing that through these 4 days. And that community of practice has really been energized thanks to the partnership with IPPF and with RHNK here during this workshop. And on behalf of FIGO, we are really delighted that that partnership is in place. The meeting that we had, I would like to share. We did create an output from this meeting, which is a position statement that we hope will help with advocacy across the region. Really joined up advocacy, but that emphasizes the voice that healthcare providers must be playing to reclaim narratives around sexual and reproductive health and rights, and to affirm that it's a question of health, and that it should not be something that is debated as a culture war issue, that it really relates to how we keep our women and girls safe. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple of points from this position statement that I would really like to share very quickly.
How many do you have?
I have 4 very short sentences.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first one is that sexual and reproductive health and rights are fundamental human rights.
Yes.
The second is that preventable maternal deaths, including those that come from unsafe abortion, are unacceptable. Mm-hmm. Thirdly, women, and especially young people, must have access to appropriate information and services all across the region. And finally, regional collaboration is essential for progress. And this is what I want to finish on. This, for me, is the takeaway.
Okay.
Personally, I've been so struck by the energy from the young people in the room, in all of the rooms that we've had here, the dancing, the singing, but also the engagement with the tough questions that we've been talking about. So my takeaway is how important it is for us to collaborate across borders, across roles, across professions, but especially for us to be collaborating with young people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. A round of applause. How important is it for us to collaborate? Dr. Elie, is this something that you are taking away as well, or what are your hot takes from this conference?
All right, thanks a lot. So I think, again, congratulations to RHNK and the whole team that organized this excellent conference. I was telling Nelly earlier that as a research and policy institute, I was wondering where have we been, because we haven't been at the center of this. But we are glad now to get into a partnership. We had a workshop, pre-conference workshop, where we trained some of the young people here, some of the young researchers, on how they can translate their research for uptake in decision-making processes. And we commit that we're going to be here going into the future. And I think we can structure that sort of training because it's very important. It's one thing to develop researchers. It's another to get those researchers really to focus on how you can give more meaning to the research in improving people's lives. So that's one thing. I think the second point is, I've been very inspired by the research that has been presented here. A lot of the young people, a lot of students presenting some of the original research that they are doing. And I think this gives a lot of hope that we can actually, because at the end of the day, really, for us to make the case on why this issue is important, on why we need to invest, why we need to attract money, there has to be evidence on the table that makes that case. Not only showing why it's important, I talk about the demographics. These 774 million people by 2050, aged 20 to 24. Nobody can look the other way if you tell them that, but still you have to tell them what is the cost of inaction?
Yes.
What are we going to lose out? And I think there was a bit of discussions around that. I think what policymakers also want is, what should we do? At what cost? I think there was a bit of evidence we can reinforce that much more. It was not as much as we needed to see. So I think the role of evidence, being a scientific conference, is very, very central. I think one other thing that encouraged me were the many discussions here related to the need to own and drive this agenda, for Africans to own and drive the agenda, domestic resource mobilization, not only pushing governments, but what are the other avenues of mobilizing resources, and how do we need to make that case? So I'm leaving here very, very encouraged. I mean, looking at the room, I don't know maybe where we got it wrong, but a lot of those fiery young people who were dancing here don't seem to be in the room. There are some at the back, but it looks like they have gone to the beach. So maybe next time we should close before lunchtime so that we can have them also hear their views as we close down. But a very, very great conference, and I think we are going to be around. I think their voices were really very strong. Having young people be at the center of all these conversations was one of the big takeaways. One last point before you red card me. I think I've been to many conferences. I think here there was a combination. Of course, there are the upcoming established researchers, there are policymakers, there are development partners. But I think on the part of policymakers, what was unique for me is the strong presence of the judiciary. I haven't been to many meetings where you get the judiciary to start looking at the legal aspects of the work, because there are big legal issues related to adolescent SHR, sexual and reproductive health and rights. And I think that's one thing that I've really seen as a very, very positive thing, and I think we should encourage that. Our Lady Justice there, really, I heard your story about how the 14-year-old boy was put in custody for having sex with a 16-year-old girl. And then when you look at it and start thinking, who is, I mean, it was consensual, but even when you look at the power dynamics, it's really a very strange thing. And I think to really make sure that the rights are fully fulfilled, the judiciary needs to be on the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Evidence, data, one of my biggest takeaways as well, and also the role of judiciary. That's one of my highlights as well. Like I said, we tend to talk amongst ourselves without involving the allies. So really lovely to see the allies come on board more and more. I'll come to you, Honorable Mohotu, because Elliot talks about data and evidence, and you mentioned it when you were doing your presentation. You brought out some data, some nuggets from Lesotho. What is your takeaway? What is missing? And I know you said you really want the evidence and the data to come from the young people. That's one of yours as well. What else are you taking back, not only to Lesotho, but for African parliamentarians? And I know you meet a lot. Yes.
Thank you so much, Messi. I think firstly, maybe let me just appreciate and thank the Nelly and the organizers. It has been great. It's not the first time that I'm here, but I can see a huge improvement. And one of the things that I can mention is the youth participation, the youth engagement. I've been in different rooms throughout, and then I've seen them not only participating in talking, but also organizing for participation, and I've seen their presentations here. So that for me has been one of the great things that I've seen in this conference, in all the places outside there where they were playing, showing films, and then in all the halls. Even yesterday we had a great time upstairs that said Kohari or something. Yeah, with the young people. They changed the way we were doing it. With the other teams, they came and they changed the scenario. Okay. They make a lot of noise, but noise that was making them excited and presenting in a different way.
Now I know why my mothers and fathers were late this morning.
Yes, so, but also one of the things that I think I will take away, I'm representing the members of parliament.
Yes.
That I will request also from Nelly and to the teams. Dr. Zulu is my great supporter for many years, over 4 years. We've been in NEPACO, and he has every year supported NEPACO. So we have been with him. So Nelly, I think maybe if we could make sure that the members of parliament from these different regions, Nelly, especially from Ghana, they need to come over here and then hear these stories, hear the young people. Fortunately, next year, 2027, in February, we'll be here in Kenya. So normally we have about 35 countries which are consistently coming, even though we are expecting the 54. If we are coming here, maybe you can help us to organize the young people to come and meet with the members of parliament where they are by themselves. They can hear the issues of SRH from the young people, the way I've heard it. Because the way I've heard it, you may not realize, Nelly, that in my country, it changed the way we are dealing with that. That's why I told you, I said, now I have the actual numbers.
Yes.
I know how much. I know what products. I know the sequencing. And I'm telling you, at the end of this month, I'll be having up to 2030. How prepared are we as a country to take up? I'll be knowing what is it that we are supposed to pass in terms of allocating the budget. Not just the budget for health products, but the budget for SRH health products.
Yeah.
So for me, it has been very important because some of the things I was not aware until last year when I came here, it brought them very clear. The doctors, I was talking to Dr. Chris, I said, last year when we came, I engaged some doctors, young doctors. They came to the parliament, filled up my office. I said, guys, what are you doing? Do you know what's happened? They said, no, we have no idea. So I was saying, how can you engage them so that they come and participate and interrogate us about things? They question us. They hold us accountable on some of the things that you are supposed to do. So for me, it has also, the last part, the involvement of the donors, reporting for the donors, has been highly reduced. So that was one of the good things. Now you can hear when people are reporting and talking about what they are doing. They're not talking about to the donors. They're talking about their countries.
Yeah.
What we can do, what we can minimize in terms of the cost, how we can consolidate, how we can integrate things so that we are not have silos around our programming. So those things have made me very excited for this conference. So I can thank you so much, Messi. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and I know how passionate we all are about this. But allow me to speak to Dr. Amenya, the last one. Yes. What are you taking away? You've had really fiery discussions here yourself, very, very great opinions you've put across. What are you taking away? What do you feel is lacking that we can do better next year? Anything?
Thank you very much. Give me this opportunity to thank Nelly and her team and the Ministry of Health for making it possible for us to be here. We have great allies out there. This gathering really tells us that we need to tap more into those allies that we have. Africa's future is dependent on its young people. And the way we protect them really matters. It will decide whether we are going to burn our countries down or whether we are going to shape our countries in such a way that everybody benefits and is a partaker in our development. And so this meeting really has encouraged me. And the UN is really very happy to be part as a convener of this wonderful gathering. And I think we need to make sure we make it more relevant also to some of the decision makers that are not in this room. We shouldn't just be talking to ourselves. It takes a whole of society approach for us to be able to get there. The youth anthem always keep ringing in my head in this conference. that anthem that you were asking them to play.
The Vijana
It keeps
Oye.
ringing in my head because it tells me three things. That this Mombasa meeting is a turning point for change. We know what works. We know that our youths have energy that we can tap to change things. And what it takes is that we need to be able to harness that energy and move away from participation to youth agency. That youth agency is so critical that you can see this gathering has shown clearly young people telling us exactly what change that they want to see, that they want to be part of, you know, and I think that is helpful. So my last point is, how then do we measure success out of this? Success for me is the number of lives that we've been able to touch. The Aminas, the Marianas, the Halimes, and all the millions of our young girls and boys as well that are out there that require sexual reproductive health and rights services. It is not just about contraception. It is about the power of information, the power of getting the political economy right in every budget. We need to get that right. If we are in sync with what people need, then definitely we will put our resources where our mouths are. So I'm really very encouraged and motivated by this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. You may take your seats. Really appreciate you. I will save you the dance, Dr. Eliazu. I will save you the dance until later. But thank you very much. Very passionate, like you can hear. Lovely to have you here, as always. We are moving into the next session, Linus. I know you are really looking forward to this one. So this will be one of our only two panels this time. And I've seen you, Dr. Chris Kaneke. All right, Linus, what is this about? Young people, are you here? Yeah. Mombasa Hoye. They want to dance, but we will do after.
Gen Z.
We will do after. We'll do the dance after.
Après?
Oui.
Pas maintenant?
No.
Moi, je veux danser.
No.
Oh. Gen Z, oye. Gen Z, oye. Ok, très bien, très bien, très bien, très bien. Les francophones sont là? Les francophones, ah? Les francophones, ah? Les anglophones, et? Ok. Donc, ce panel, c'est à propos de changement systématique mené par la jeunesse africaine. Le président du panel sera notre docteur Chris Kaniki. Docteur Chris Kaniki, s'il vous plaît, venez au podium pour présenter, votre panel. Merci.
Je vous en prie. Et je crois que puisque... C'est pas mon téléphone. Puisqu'on a choisi de m'introduire en français, je crois que je vais conduire aussi mon panel en français. I was saying I've been introduced in French, so I can continue my panel in French.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for this moment. And as you said, it's one of our two panels to close the session. And I'm happy that this one this year is not just a segment, but a real panel that you're going to have a discussion with a group of young people. So, this is the second time I've been invited as a moderator. Hey, it's not easy. Congratulations, guys. Let me invite my panelists. The session is going to be about youth-led system, how young people have been participating into this session, and what is it that we are going to take as a message from this session. It's going to be a very short session, and let me quickly invite all of them at once. I have Vanessa. Can you please encourage them as they're coming? Elandombi, Simon Kambati, Vanessa, Donitila, and Lorraine. Yes, our own Lorraine. Where's Lorraine? Okay. Oh. Please have a seat. So the king should take the middle seat. And it's a good one, like just coming after the session that ended. And I just wanted to pick one word from what the last speaker was talking about, what the success looked like from this conference. And for me to start with, I'd like to say that for the past few days, we've been engaged in very deep conversation, dialogue, and also challenging existing norms, and collectively trying to reimagine the future of SRHR when it comes to young people, talking about the youth agency. But also, as I say, one thing is the true measure of this conference lies not in the word that we've been speaking here, but there lies into the action that you are going to live when, the action you're going to take when you're living here. And this is why today I'm going to have, our last session discussing with this group of young people, very talented and brilliant. And I'm sure that by the end of this session, you realize how young people are really engaged in this. And the first thing I would like to start with is just to give each of you 15 seconds. Since I just brought all of you without introducing you, just tell us who you are and what you are doing. Can you do it in 15 seconds? And you know what I did? After 15 seconds, I grabbed my mic. Thank you. I start with Vanessa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa Ndaka. I am a third-year epidemiology and biostatistics student. But apart from that, I'm a youth advocate, and I advocate for AYSRHR. And I represent Nairobi at the UNFPA Youth Advisory Panel. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ella Ndombi. I'm also a third-year student, but doing statistics and data science at Strathmore. I'm also a youth advocate with Reproductive Health Network Kenya and a fellow at the Youth Fellowship Academy. I'm also a proud AYSRHR. And yeah,
Thank you.
I believe it. Sorry.
I know your list is long.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Domitila Mukundi. I'm a second-year student majoring in epidemiology and biostatistics in USIU. I'm a youth advocate and youth fellow at RHNK. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lorraine Sakini. I work with Reproductive Health Network Kenya as the adolescent and youth lead. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Simon Kiambati. I am a fifth-year medical student at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. I am also the youth representative at the board of the Reproductive Health Network, and I serve as the president for Kenya for the Youth Action Movement at IPPF. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Now I think we have an idea of who we have on our panel. But let me start just with you, Simon. We've been discussing about youth agency, right? And it's one of the things that, the main topic that has emerged as a central theme throughout the conference. Now, in your own view, please don't speak as RHNK representative, but in your own view, what is the biggest barrier that are preventing young people
from being equal partner in decision-making processes when it comes to SRHR. And this, when you look at what government, institution, and youth-led organizations are doing.
I'll begin by saying, as has been clearly said, that young people are very eager, young people are very ready to do the work that needs to be done to change the lives of young African people within the continent. And the major problem is we tend to look at young people as figureheads, where we're invited to the table at the last minute, at the launch of a protocol, at the launch of a meeting. We are not included in these meetings from the beginning. And that is something that we have been saying from the beginning of this conference, is that we need young people to be institutionalized in every single meeting, such that when we come to Mombasa, when we ask the CEC Health Finance, do you actually have a young person in your committee? We need you to actually have it written down in all your policies that young people should be part of this table. And this is not just a tokenistic approach. You're not just going to have a young person there to just sit for the photos. We need you to have it clearly written down that this is a young person who's sitting on this board. This is their responsibility. And we need to have young people as a decision maker, such that as Simon, as all the young people here, in whatever position you ever sit, if I say no, that policy should not go. That policy should stop. We need to rethink it. We need to address what the young people are saying. We need to ensure that in every single CSO, in every single partner, in every single government, every single technical working group, every single policy that you are working on to address the young people, to address our health, in every single position, you need to have a young person. And you need to have it clearly documented. And something that we have said as young people is that going forward, we need to have indicators. We need to look, just the same way we say that young people form the majority of this conference.
Yeah.
We need to look at all the government positions, all the technical working groups working on young people's decisions. Do you have a young person? So that next time you're going to say only 50% of CSOs, only 50% of government institutions, only 50% of committees have young people. And then we start asking those members of those institutions, how can you be making decisions for young people without young people? We need to ensure that it begins with us. From this conference, when we come here next year, we need to know how many of you have young people. When you talk to you, Dr. Kaniki, when you come at Africa CDC, we need to see young people. So that when we have these numbers of where young people are included, we then can move to the decision of how do we ensure that all these partners, all these institutions have young people. Because as of now, do we really know? We don't have the data to ensure. So we need to ensure that young people are clearly positioned to make the decisions, because as we have seen, young people have the knowledge, the skills, and we have been capacity built to fight and advocate for the rights of our own. And we need to ensure that going forward, no one is left behind.
Thank you so much, Simon. I know that you can go on and on and on. And yes, that is one of the commitments that we have at Africa CDC, and I would like to even say that the target is to say at least 100 brought in. That was my leadership commitment, and I'm working toward that to make sure that we are doing that. And thank you so much for that. Next, I would like to go to... No, let me first start with Vanessa, right next to me. And again, congratulations for the innovation that with the book we launched, right? Was it the day before yesterday? Nina Nabinti. And now I'm trying to look at things in terms of innovation, education, and accountability. Throughout the conference, so we've heard this, and Simon even mentioned something about related to that, and I'd like to talk about the evidence-based action, the research, or digital health innovation. Now the question is, what is it, apart from your own, because you are the one who showed us in terms of innovation what we celebrate the other day. But apart from that one, what is it that one promising, let me say, achievement or practice that has been showcased during the conference that you think is the most prominent, that is bringing some most hope, and how young people can help ensure that the innovation translate into impact? Not only innovation for innovation, but we want innovation for impact.
Well, first, we are in a digital era, and I believe that digital health innovation has increased access to health information, correct information, especially to the young people and to the less informed people, And the digital innovation has been put in such a way, especially to the young people, which is basically in places, in sites, in the social media. You can find that the SRHR information has been put in an easy to understand way, which is fairly nice, into easily understood way into a relative way which young people can understand easily. And I think that technology mixed with evidence-based research overcomes challenges such as distance, so that youths living in faraway places also have access to the SRHR information, and also lack of information and the stigma that comes with the SRHR. And in terms of young people helping to ensure that innovation translates into accountability and to real impact, I think that the youth should be involved in the designing and the testing of digital innovation tools. The youths are the ones who are supposed to say, we want to create this and this and this because this will work for us. And that the youth should also advocate for data-driven policies, whereby the youths who come from different communities come with their data and help the policymakers formulate policies. And the young people will also give feedback whether the policies that were created, do they work, do they not work? And from that information and from that feedback, it will help us now refine the policies that were there, or scrape off the policies that are not working and create new policies that will work, because it is for the young people and by the young people. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And talking about, yes, please, you can encourage her. Again, one more. Just before the session, I was discussing with one of our leaders. I mean, it was one of the panelists last year, if I remember, delegate from Lesotho. I don't know if he's still in the room. And one of the things that he brought to our attention when we were discussing was about how are we even updating this law or policies that are out there. And what I like is that he is willing to work with young people to make sure that now that you are going to update those policies should be with young people contribution, not only in the parliament offices doing things for young people, but engaging young people, and especially when it's come to digital health and accountability. So thank you so much, Vanessa. Now moving from Simon, youth agencies, digital information and accountability. Now let me go back to talk about the conversation, from conversation to action. And for this, I want to have Ella. Now, again, from this conference, we've been emphasizing that to achieve sexual reproductive health for all, this requires more than just policy commitment and the demand for meaningful youth engagement. From this conference, and let's even start from what you've been engaged, for example, in the Chini ya Munazi activity. What is it that that one lesson is challenging for you in terms of your perspective and action that need to be taken differently in your community? Yourself, what is it that you're taking back to your community that can make it different from the lessons learned from this conference?
Okay, I'd say that from the conference and the dialogues that we've had at Chini ya Mnazi, the one realization that I made that really challenged my perspective on a couple of things was that meaningful youth engagement is not just about our presence in the room. It's about the fact that our voices have the power to actually make changes or make decisions or influence the decisions that are being made on matters that are being discussed. It's not just about our numbers in the room, it's about the quality of our participation. We could have 100 youth seated at the table, but the decisions are being made by the Friends of Youth, and that's pointless. So the meaningful youth engagement is about giving the youth the power to actually shift these policies that are being implemented and involving them in the actions that are going to be taken after these discussions have been had. And one thing that I'm going to take back to my community is intentional engagement. It's not just about gaining access to these spaces. It's not just about attending conferences and listening to people speak. It's about being able to gather data. It's about being able to listen to my peers. It's about being able to speak for those who are voiceless. It's about being able to use my voice to influence decisions that are not right for us. Yes. So as Honorable Makoto said on Wednesday, we are going to take those seats, whether invited or not.
Say it again.
Oh, I'm just quoting Honorable Makoto. That's what he said. He told us to take the seats, whether we are invited or not.
And for that one, when it's come for taking seat, I used to tell fellow, sometimes when I'm in the offices, like with Dr. Claudia, they'll look at me and say, this young person. And then when I'm sitting with young people, they'll be like, that old guy. So I don't know which group I belong to. But again, when it's come to taking the seats, I used to tell young people, and again, just like that, bring your own seat to that table and make a space. They will definitively make a space. But one thing also we use to emphasize is telling young people, it's not just a matter of looking to have a space, and you've said it. Be prepared, as Dr. Blaine said the other day. Get yourself ready so that when the opportunity is given to you to shoot your shot, and then be like, okay, this is the guy, this is the person we wanted to have at this table, but not just a person who is coming there to be ticking the box that we have young people. But again, this is also what organization we're supposed to do, to be preparing the young people to be ready for that. I'd say thank you so much, Ella. Next for me will be, before Lorraine, let me talk about issues regarding groups leaving people behind. So my question for you, Donitila, which group of young people do you think or do you believe is still being left behind when it's come to SRHR programming? But also, what should we do differently to ensure that their voices and needs are prioritized?
The group of the young people who are being left behind are those living at the intersection of multiple disadvantages. For example, the youth living with HIV, living in rural areas, informal settlements, and also those who are able differently. And we'll still find that these programs reach out to those who are the easiest to reach out. And what can be done differently, first of all, is to go beyond the obvious. When we sit down to create programs, to implement policies, or even to start with a simple conversation, ask yourself, who is the hardest to reach out, and have I created an opportunity or space to them? And second of all is using the community level data to drive these programs, because this data is collected from the community itself. It creates a very clear picture of the challenges that the youths are facing, and we'll be able to create and deliver a program which will be more effective. And also for the youth leaders, they should be able to mobilize more youths and amplify their voices, because every young person you leave behind is a solution that the world will never get to see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donitila. And again, we need to emphasize on that. We don't need to leave anyone behind. We want everyone to be involved in our program. And this is how our program are going to succeed. We can't be having a program which is not involving everyone, and especially this group of young people. Now, lastly, Lauren. And I know, Lauren, if we have the discussion with you, I remember last year, we can have the whole day. So for you, I'm going to look at my watch for your question. And as youth delegate at this conference, and for you, I want us to discuss about the commitment beyond this conference. We have collectively committed to championing youth leadership and they are here, a lot of them from our, how do you call them? Friends of Youth organization and everyone in the room. So my question would be, what is that specific commitment for yourself you are making today? And I'm asking this question because if I'm coming back next year, if the ED still invite me next year, I'll ask you if you really worked toward achieving your commitment. So what will be your commitment for this year? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. My personal commitment for this day is to build on what the fellow panelists have spoken on. Them being young people and speaking about bringing seats. I will be opening the doors for the seats to come in. Them speaking about marginalized communities, speaking about underprivileged young people with disability, the inclusivity of it all. As we work and plan through our programming process, I will ensure that their voices are represented, to just ensure that as we speak, as we work and as we walk, we are also walking the talk. We are ensuring that all this is reflected programmatically and it's not just limited to platforms and stages. My personal commitment as an individual is to ensure that through the leadership training that I have gotten through RHNK, through the executive team, and also through you, the providers, as well as facilitators and mentors, that I also become that mentor to young people, and they will be available next year for the conference, and they will let you know that they did receive that. Yeah.
How many are you going to mentor?
5.
Can I add a 0?
No.
Thank you for your commitment, and I'll count them. I would need the detail for those 5. So as we are concluding this session, one more question to each of you. I mean, it should be a common question, but this one I want you to just be very brief, okay? What will be then your call to action after this conference? We've been discussing, and you know the theme. What will be your call to action? And this is to every young person, the policymaker, organization here in the room, but also what is it that we need to do for our commitment to ensure that this commitment become reality, not just another conference, for us to be ticking box that we did it in 2026, let's meet in 2027. What is it that will be your call to action? 5 seconds each. So I'll start with, yes. I'm trying to.
My call to action will be to the young people. You already have what you need, so don't sit and wait. Go find another young person who did not have the opportunity to attend this conference and other similar conferences and amplify their voices.
Thank you. Simon.
My call to action is to all the partners, all the government institutions, all the CSOs working on young people to ensure that they have young people and are actively engaging young people in each and every decision. And when we come here next year, that is the first question we're going to be asking, is do you have a young people? Before you stand here on the podium, have you come with a young person?
If not, remove them from the panel.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Vanessa.
I believe that young people should not only be recognized as consultants, but young people should be involved as partners in innovation, in research making, and decision making.
Thank you. Ella.
Mine would be that as the young people who we are here today, we have seen what the conference has discussed. We've seen the conclusions that have come from this conference, and we need to go back home and reiterate it to our communities and have them foster environments where the rest of our peers can feel free to exercise their rights, that feel free to access services and reach their full potential.
Thank you so much. And adding to your commitment, Ella, I remember again at the boat we're discussing with a colleague from Kenya again. I don't know if, yes, my brother there. What's your name again? I'm sure that the EDF heard, I can hear. So one of the discussion we had with him was about the engagement that we have from this conference and how are we going to impact those in the community, because not everyone can be in this room. We have those who are hard to reach at the community. And even if we have to have them in the room, not everyone has the level of or the instruction to understand all this English we've been speaking here and the French and all of that. So we need people who can now take this, the thing we've been discussing here, break them down to make sure that those at that level can also understand and implement it. So thank you so much for that call to action, and I'm sure that you got it. And as I said, we all are all here to support each other for that. So once again, thank you so much to my panelists, but you are not leaving yet. I still want you to stay here. Once again, I would like to thank everyone who have been following up. I know you might have questions, but if you have questions, please direct them to the ED, not my panelists for now. I don't have enough time. But I would just like to call two of them for a final statement. And this one, I would like to call it a communique from the conference. What is it that we are coming up with it as a final reflection from young people, from the Chini ya Munazi, all the discussion throughout the conference, the Nena Nabinti and posters, panel and plenary. So let me invite, it's Vanessa and, oh, Simon? Okay, let me invite Simon and the team. Oh, so there's a, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for me to invite my team, my panelists for this communique, and I'll start with Simon.
Yes, so this is a communique of the young people to the conference participants. And we begin with saying, we, the participants of this 9th RHNK Pan-African AYSRHR conference, gathered in Mombasa under the theme of strengthening SRHR to achieve youth agency, full potential and meaningful participation in Africa's dynamic social, political, and economic landscape. We have gathered here as young people, governments, civil society, researchers, health providers, policymakers, parliamentarians, judges and development partners, private sector actors, faith-based organizations, movements, and community actors committed. We are committed to advancing adolescent and youth SRHR across Africa. We meet at a defining moment. We meet Africa's young people, and they are central to the continent's demographic dividend, economic transformation, democratic renewal, and social progress. Yet, for too many adolescents and young people, the promise of health, agency, safety, education, dignity, and meaningful participation remains unfinished. We recognize that the triple threat and the sexual and gender-based violence, HIV infection, and adolescent pregnancies continue to deny young people their rights, disrupt education, deepen poverty, and limit their full potential. These challenges are not isolated health concerns. They are symptoms of systems that have not sufficiently protected, listened to, funded, and trusted young people. We affirm that adolescent and youth SRHR is foundational to the health, gender equality, education, economic growth, social justice, peace, and sustainable development. There can be no demographic dividend without deliberate investment in the health, rights, choices, and leadership of young people.
Our commitments. We therefore commit to moving from promising to implementation, from visibility to power, and from fragmented to collective action and accountable system that deliver for every young person. One is eliminating the triple threat through integrated action. We will strengthen prevention, protection, care, and accountability responses to sexual and gender-based violence, HIV infections, and adolescent pregnancies, linking sexuality education, HIV services, contraception, mental health, survivor-centered care, and support for pregnant and parenting adolescents. 2. Ensuring universal access to quality and youth-friendly services. We will remove barriers such as cost, distance, stigma, provider bias, weak referrals, lack of commodities, restrictive norms, poor information, and unsafe service environments so that care is respectful, confidential, affordable, accessible, inclusive, and responsive. 3. Making schools and communities protective spaces. We will support schools and communities to provide accurate SRHR information, mentorship, menstrual health support, psychological support, digital safety, violence prevention, referral pathways, and protection from abuse, exploitation, stigma, and exclusion. 4. Investing in self-care as part of strong health systems. We affirm self-care as a pathway for expanding access, choice, privacy, and agency. It must be supported by trusted information, trained providers, community structures, commodities, referrals, quality assurance, and clear accountability. 5. Advancing ethical and accountable digital health and AI. We recognize the potential of digital platforms, telemedicine, artificial intelligence, data systems, and youth-led innovations to expand access while addressing misinformation, bias, privacy violations, digital exclusion, as safe advice, and technology-facilitated harm.
6. Financing what we promise. We call for increased domestic financing, transparent budgeting, reliable commodity procurement, last-mile distribution, accountability for adolescent and youth SRHR investments, moving beyond short-term pilots to scalable, sustainable, and outcome-focused investment. Number 7, using data, evidence, and demographic intelligence for action. We will use disregarded data, implementation evidence, demographic intelligence, youth-generated knowledge, and research to identify who is being left behind, where progress has stalled, and which interventions are producing real change. 8. Designing for inclusion from the start. We will ensure that the AYSRHR programming serves young people with disabilities, young mothers, married adolescents, out-of-school adolescents, displaced young people in fragile settings, and those facing stigma, discrimination, or exclusion. 9. Protecting rights through enabling laws and policies. We call on African governments to prioritize adolescent and SRHR in nation developing plans, domestic financing, legal and policy reform, health systems, education systems, social protection, climate response, and accountability frameworks. 10. Intersectoral collaboration. No one sector can realize sexual reproductive rights for adolescents. Working together between governments, donors, civil societies, and private sector will multiply the gains. We commit to this collaboration to realize results for adolescents. 11. Institutionalizing meaningful youth participation. Young people must shape agendas, laws, budgets, services, research, digital tools, accountability mechanisms, and movement strategies. Youth leadership must be resourced, protected, and recognized as essential to health, security, development, and democracy.
Our call to action. We call on African governments to prioritize adolescent and youth SRHR in national development plans, health financing, education systems, legal reform, social protection, climate response, and accountability frameworks. We call on ministries, parliamentarians, judges, and policymakers to translate commitments into laws, budgets, services, and decisions that protect young people's rights and expand access to care. We call on health systems and providers to offer non-judgmental, confidential, rights-based, adolescents-responsive services that uphold dignity, informed choice, and quality of care. We call on the education, labor, justice, technology, finance, and social protection sectors to recognize SRHR as a multi-sectoral development priority. We call on donors and development partners to provide flexible, long-term, and true trust-based support to youth-led, grassroots, feminist, and community-rooted organizations working closest to the realities of the young people. We call on the civil society, communities, faith actors, and movements to counter stigma, misinformation, and anti-rights narratives while strengthening solidarity, civic space, and community accountability. We call on young people to continue organizing, questioning, innovating, researching, leading, and holding institutions accountable for commitments made in their name. Follow-up and accountability. This communique is not an endpoint, it's a call to action. We commit to carrying the evidence, recommendations, policy briefs, partnerships, and youth voices from this conference into national, regional, and continental spaces where decisions are made. We encourage all stakeholders to report back on progress, document what changes, share learning, and remain accountable to the young people whose lives, rights, and futures are at stake. Our closing declaration. From Mombasa, we affirm that Africa's future depends on young people who are healthy, informed, protected, resourced, and free to participate meaningfully in shaping their own lives and the future of the continent. There can be no full potential without health. There can be no youth agency without rights. There can be no meaningful participation without power. And there can be no demographic dividend without investing in adolescent and youth SRHR now.
Thank you so much. And as I'm inviting all of you to come here, stand for maybe the last picture of all of us here, just to remind again, this is not just a communique, and as Ella just said it again, a call to action. And I would like to say, do we have some copies? Please come forward. I would like to make sure that you are distributing this communique to everyone here, so that when you are coming back next year, no one should say, I didn't have my copy, I don't remember what the communique was about. Let's make sure that, isn't it, Eddie? Let's make sure that we distribute this communique to everyone and pick your part in the communique. What will be your responsibility? What is it that you're committing to? What is it that you're going to implement? And what is it that you are going to report on as a success, as a lesson? And please make sure that we are doing this for our Africa. And for the young people, thank you so much for the panel. Thank you for the communique and the call to action. I thank you.
Smile.
Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chris. You want one without Dr. Chris? Chris, they called you old. They called you old.
That's the problem.
All right, yay, Gen Z. Chris. All right, okay. All right, one more. 1, 2, 3, go. Yay. Another pause. One more. Change. Another one. Hola. Peace out. Are you sure you're not millennials by any chance? With the peace sign. Okay. Lovely. Thank you so much, Dr. Chris Kaniki. Thank you so much, our lovely, lovely young people, for staying through. Lovely to see you. And the commitments and the asks. We go to the asks. And I will do, for the next group of speakers, I will do the same thing I did with my previous team of 4 here. We are not going on stage, okay? Because you've been sitting for a while. So I'm going to ask you to stand here. Please forgive me. If anyone, I want to know who's been taking their soup and their supplements and their, yes? Oh, because it's the friends of young people now. It's not the young people. Media team, vijana oye. Media team, anthem, vijana oye. Africa oye. Please stand up just where you are. Stretch your legs a bit before we invite the next panel. Young people, help a friend of our young people to stand up. Yes, stretch. Dr. Amenya is showing you how to do it. Come here with me, Dr. Amenya.
tuko tayari Mombasa. Karibu nyumbani, shika mkeka, RHNK. Jisikie huru, hapa umefika. Hakuna presha, hapa raha mpito mpito. Ngoma inakesha, furaha bila mwisho. Mama yo, karibu Mombasa. Karibu Mombasa. Karibu Mombasa. Karibu Mombasa.
The next team of people, they're still even standing because they know I'm going to call them. So we are not going on stage because we've done a lot of that. So are you happy to stand with me here? Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So please allow me to call over here Honorable Dr. Joyce Moriku Kadusho from Uganda. A round of applause as she comes. Lucy Kimondo from NCPD. Thank you so much for being here. Dr. Edward Sarem has just stepped out, so Dr. Kisia. Yes, sorry to ambush you. Dr. Kisia, come on next to me, and then Claudia, Dr. Claudia Shilumani, IPPF, and lastly, the lovely, lovely Nelly Munyasia from RHNK. Powerful panel. Look at, oh my goodness, it's an all ladies panel. Oh, it's an all ladies panel. Thank you. Come here so that we are in between the two screens and nobody gets left out. All right. Ladies, thank you so much. This is lovely. The first all-female panel that we've seen in this conference. So this is lovely, powerful women doing great things in this continent. We are so proud of you. Now, for the last 3 days, what have we been discussing? We've been talking about youth agency. We've talked about funding. We've talked about, the changing landscape. We've talked about innovation. We've talked about partnership, collaboration. All those things have come through. But I'm here for the very last panel with a very difficult question, but a very necessary one. One that we've been going through as the global health landscape, but also in the SRHR space, about the shifting donor landscape. We all know what we've seen in the last 1 year. The money is just not coming in. The priorities are shifting. So what next? The question that we want to look at is not whether Africa should prepare for a future beyond aid, but whether you ladies and Africa in general is ready to lead it. Are we ready to lead a future without aid? So how do we build sustainable systems that do not rise and fall within funding cycles? How do we strengthen institutions? How do we move from dependence to partnerships? And I will start with you, Dr. Claudia Shilumani, IPPF. Can somebody please get me the mics? Linus, please help me with the mics. Claudia, I want you to tell us in just maybe 2 minutes max, what you think development partners' role should be in the next 5 years, okay? Because we've spent years talking about how to attract funding. But the better question, in my opinion, is how do we make adolescent and youth SRHR impossible for government, donors, and funders to ignore? How do we make it impossible for any person to ignore adolescent and youth SRHR?
Ooh. Okay, thank you so much for that question. I will start by saying we should stop budgeting for sexual and reproductive health and rights when funders are paying. We need to budget for it from our own money in governments. And let me tell you how we frame it, because most of the time, and let me start by observing that in this conference, I don't see anyone from the Ministry of Finance. Maybe next year we need to make sure that they come.
Yep.
We are health people. We are sexual and reproductive health people. But the person who holds the purse is not in this room. So we talk to ourselves and we know the language, but our language is more appealing to the heart. It's not talking the financial and economic language that the Minister of Finance understands. So we need to frame sexual and reproductive health and investment in young people as an investment, not as a cost. Because when ministers of health see that the future labor market of the country is at stake, they listen. So let's frame sexual and reproductive health investment as what it should be framed as, which is an
investment and not a cost. And you bring in a very important thing about how we talk to the heart. As a storyteller, I usually say anything you do should talk to three things: the heart, the mind, and the pocket. Yeah? The heart, emotion, the mind, the data and everything, the pocket, the money. Dr. Joyce Kadoshu, if donor funding completely disappeared tomorrow, what is one investment in adolescent and youth SRHR that Uganda would protect at all costs?
Thank you so much. This is a very critical question that all of us should pay a special interest. We are speaking about resources. We are speaking about government, the African continent. I think this question is moving away from donor-dependent syndrome. Ladies and gentlemen, for African countries to move away from donor-dependent syndrome, we all need to strengthen our domestic mobilization, meaning that the task base need to be widened, need to be broadened. And we can broaden this when all of us, the African member states, we need to expand by collecting enough revenue within the countries. We need to digitalize our resource mobilization techniques. We need to strengthen the tax collection policy. Besides that, African countries must drive industrialization. For us to move away from donor-dependent disease, we should think about making use of our raw materials. Oftentimes, we did not add value to our raw materials. We did not invest much more in our resources. We did not invest much more in our markets. We can have more markets here. We get goods from Uganda being sold in Kenya. That is the only way we can broaden our task. We can broaden our domestic resource mobilization, reduce donor-driven syndrome, dependent syndrome. Now, the question about if today, tomorrow, the donor moves away from Uganda, what am I going to do with the youth? First of all, for us, we've got principles in place. Principle number one, whenever we get a program, we get a project, we must own that project. Ownership and leadership, and think about sustainability. How do we own? We as a country, in the process of ownership, we build the capacity of these young people. We align the program within the local context so that tomorrow, if the donor withdraws, we still have the youth, we have the resources able to carry with the legacy of the program for sustainability within the local context. That is what we can do as a country based on the principles of ownership and sustainability.
Ownership, sustainability, and really build the capacity of the young people. Now, you have talked about broadening our domestic funding and really looking at how we can do resource mobilization locally. Lucy, if I gave you $1 additional today, you know, it could be 10 billion, it could be, you know, would you invest it in services, data, advocacy, or system strengthening, and why?
Thank you for the question. I'm so worried I can't see the young people in the room, yet they say nothing for us without us. Consistency is key for us to achieve. Yes, if you gave me an additional $1, I would fund it in system. During lunchtime, we were discussing what is ailing us as a country. Is we do haphazard investments. And I'm looking at from the start. When we invest in the systems, we are going to have enough health workers, We are going to have a good referral mechanism. We are going to have drugs in the hospitals. So the dollar will count. Every shilling will count because we know where to invest. But when we don't have systems, we'll advocate until cows come home, but we'll be investing in the wrong place. So we need to have systems that work for our adolescents, so that it will be telling us where do we invest and how much is required in each and every section, and making sure that they work in harmony. Because let me give an example. In a health facility, with one nurse, giving family planning, dressing the wards, treating codes, doing everything, and then a mother comes with an emergency. She has to call for an ambulance to come. Maybe by the time the ambulance comes, this lady is already, And then when she arrives in the next the hospital where she is being referred, if she is lucky to get an ambulance, there is no blood. Then we end up losing the mother. So we need to fund our system and make sure that they work for both men and women, because even men need referrals. Yes.
Very nice when you talk about systems. Brings me to health systems, Dr. Kisia, because, when donor-funded projects end, and we have seen a lot of it. We have seen, people pulling back. We've seen programs close and all that. What must change if services on SRHR are to be embedded within national systems rather than existing alongside them? Very briefly, in 2 minutes, what should change?
Thank you for that question. One, as the government, we are very, very, very committed when it comes to young people and the youth, and we want the best for them. So first, I would like, if you allow me, just to talk to the young people.
Okay.
Yeah?
In less than a minute.
Yes.
Yes.
To the young people present today here, you are not just a beneficiary, you are an essential partner. Do not wait to be invited on the table. As I said before, come with the table and come with your chairs. Raise your voices and boldly and constructively. Organize, engage in policy dialogue, particularly during budget processes. We were just told that, we had the president just launched 2.5 billion, which will go to family planning. How much is there for the adolescents and youth? That is what we should fight for. We should be there on that table, making sure at least 10% should go to the young people and hold us accountable, the government. Leadership is not defined by age. So at any age, rise up, and it's your right, but by vision, commitment, and action. Nothing is for us without us. Where are you today? I don't see you here.
They're here. A few of them are here.
You're
and
too few.
And this is actually being streamed live. So I hope if you're not here, you are watching us live on YouTube, because this is being streamed live on the RHNK YouTube page. So young people, I hope you are watching if you are not here. Yes, go ahead, Dr. Kisia.
Remember, you said it's a commitment, but nothing without us. Nothing for us without us. You must move the slogan to practice. To the government, development partners, and civil society, we must translate this rich discussion into concrete action. Let's strengthen domestic financing of AYSRHR with dedicated budget lines, innovative mechanism, and integration into the universal health coverage, fully implementation of progress towards the law and policy, while encountering the anti-right pushback through evidence, dialogue, and coalition. Scale up your youth-friendly services, commodity security, and comprehensive sexual education. ensure no young person, especially the most vulnerable, is left behind.
And the last one?
African demographic dividends will only be realized if today's adolescents are healthy, educated, empowered, and actively engaged.
Thank you. Allow me to stop you there. Allow me to stop you there because I feel you are reading the closing statement before I get there. So allow me to stop you there and come to Nelly. Nelly, what next? What next? And the reason why I'm rushing you is because for 4 days I haven't stepped on the beach. I need to go. I need to go. Anybody going with me? Yes, you see, you want to go to the beach with me, right? Okay. Yeah. Nelly, so, what next? Yes.
Thank you. I mean, for me, every time we've had this conference, it's moved from one level to the other. We've always committed to convene this agenda-setting meeting for Africa by Africans. And for the past 4 days, I have listened and listened carefully. I have had sessions, I have had side meetings, and I've had Africa tell me we need some more. We had said that we will take a break, but I am really grateful and excited, one, for partners in this room that have already committed to walk this African journey with us. Claps?
Yes.
Secondly, we have a funder that has committed to continue walking this journey, importantly, building the capacity of the African young leadership. We started last year, we started this year, we trained 15. They will be graduating in October. Please look out, refer young people from Africa to us. We are looking at the West and South Africa that were least represented in the inaugural cohort. Please refer them to us so that as we start taking on board the next cohort, then we are very keen on having more than 10 from the East and West Africa, and from the South and West Africa, and few coming from the Central, yes, and the few coming from East Africa. Number 3, we want to appreciate the government of Kenya and Uganda. I think they will agree amongst themselves who host next year's conference. But as RHNK and our partners, we will continue to have this convening. Very importantly, we will be reaching out to all of you to help us implement the outcomes of this conference, because we do not come here to go to the beach. We do not come here to take photos. We come here because Africa is important. The future generation is important to us. And it's just not a meeting, it is a agenda setting meeting, and we have to make sure that the triple threat doesn't become one of those seductive and beautiful conversations that we say year in, year out. We are intentional about sorting the issues that affect the adolescent and youth in our continent. And that's my commitment as the leader of RHNK, but importantly as the person that is privileged and honored to be bringing Africa here every year. Thank you so much.
Wow, round of applause. Thank you. Vanelli, you know you could have told me that aside. Like you didn't have to say it in front of people. You didn't have to say it in front of people. You should have just called me aside and told me, you came here to talk and not to go to the... All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nelly. One word, Dr. Shilimani, that you're leaving here with. One word. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's in your mind? One word. For me, it's accountability. What is it for you? Just one word. She said commitment. Nelly, one word. You'll pass. Dr. Kisia, one word. Domestic financing. It's 2 words, but I'll take it. Domestic financing. Lucy, one word. Please use the mic. Use the mic.
For me, mentorship. Youth is transition. Let's mentor those coming behind us.
Mentorship. Honorable Minister, one word for you.
Nothing for us to nothing without us. youth involvement, integration, and love and passion for the sexual reproductive health and rights services.
Thank you so much for your passion. Lovely ladies, what a wonderful way to end this. You may take your seats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nelly, I have a bone to pick with you, but it's okay. So if you see me at the beach, just know I've been summoned. Okay, but I'll go to the pool. Okay, we mentioned Uganda. I know I'm just about to call Professor Osur to give the vote of thanks. But before that, is Richard Mugahi here? Good. Richard. Uganda has been, and tell us if you're hosting next year, okay? Because Nelly has said you need to decide whether you're hosting or not, but it's been lovely. You shall prepare please don't take us to the beach for me, okay. It's been lovely hosting these with Uganda, really phenomenal. Neighbors, beautiful friendship. So your parting words, how are you feeling? What is Uganda preparing for? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm excited that I attended this conference. It's my first time to attend this conference. My name is Richard Mugahi. I stand here to represent the Director General of Health Services, who was supposed to be here at the opening ceremony. In my capacity as the head of SRH, at the Ministry of Health Uganda, I think I'm well positioned to give a few comments and remarks, but it's also a disadvantage that you speak when everyone else has said everything, so you need to look for new words, a few new words. For the young people here, you're actually the reason we are here, not only today, for the last couple of days. It's a sign of love. I think you should clap for us. And fortunately, most of them probably are watching on TV or somewhere, but you're the reason we are here. We've been young like you, and knowing what you go through, the challenges you go through, your voices are clear. Your voices are clear. Your asks are clear. You have clarity of where you are, where you want to go, and how you want to go there. We stand in as duty bearers or policy makers to make commitments. We commit to engage you more. I think the word should be engaging more, and we should be able to be mathematical in calculating how more have we engaged the young people. I like the call to action statements from the young people are clearly stipulating how much more they want us to engage them. I returned to Uganda with a very happy heart, having listened to a number of presentations, serious commitments from young people and all the other allies who are in this house. But one fundamental question that has been lingering in my mind since I sat here has been, how capable are we to translate all our commitments, all our calls to action into really actions? That takes energy. If we can come back here or be in Uganda, Uganda is even ready to host tomorrow. If we can come here or wherever we shall be next year with a clear accountability, a clear report that we are here to report that we are seeing a reduction in teenage pregnancies. We are seeing a reduction in gender-based violence. We are seeing a reduction in new HIV infections among us young people. Someone called them the 3 key killers. And not forgetting NCDs. Young people are also prone, there's another epidemic of non-communicable diseases. We want to see young people healthy. We want to see young people develop into adults. In Uganda, we have a programming system that brings together the tripartite education, health, and gender in form of a human capital platform. The whole transformation story for Africa is about how best we invest in our human capital and how much we've nurtured it from the start. So I think having the opportunity to attend this great conference, I want to appreciate, like others have done, all the conveners who have contributed their invaluable resources, and also add my voice to the young people. This was a well-organized conference. Young people, we need to clap for you. I personally, wherever you'd get lost and you find a young people with a tag, ask me, you'd be helped. And really, really, that was phenomenal. We think that you're actually ready and good to take on. So I think on behalf of Team Uganda, I'm also privileged to have my minister here. So Uganda was really represented in full swing. We have Madame Self-Care, Rosalind, Dr. Rosalind. We are the champions of self-care. And Emmanuel, one of the biggest champions for also self-care. So once again, I want to thank you. And I don't know, Madam Moderator, if I should be inviting Professor.
He's already walking towards you. Karibu, Prof, it's okay.
Professor, what an honor to invite you to make the vote of thanks for closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. How are you, everyone?
Good.
It's so good to see you in the last 5 minutes of the conference because we are basically done. We are going to have the conference report in the website in a few weeks. Please feel free to go there and remind yourself what we have discussed. There will be a communique as well in the website to remind us what we've committed to, and there will be policy briefs coming as well in a few weeks, which we can use for our advocacy. So in other words, in Kenya, in Swahili we say habari ya kuonana. Kwaheri ya kuonana. We are not saying bye-bye. We are saying see you again in the website to continue the discussion later. But as we do this, I think it is important to appreciate the people who have made this happen. The ministries of Health, Kenya, Uganda. I know there are other governments represented by either the judiciary, the legislature. We thank you very much on Mokothu. You're always with us. And I know there are other governments, but those two have really been leaders in making this happen. Clap for the ministries in Kenya, Uganda, and also the NCPD in Kenya, the National Council for Population and Development. We want to thank our sponsors. I must tell you it is very expensive to run this conference. The money we give for registration is like a drop in the sea. So if we didn't have sponsors, we wouldn't make it. Because of time, I will not, you have them here. Yeah. Our sponsors, maybe I should say IPPF, Hewlett Foundation, Packard Foundation, TICO, Government of Netherlands, Embassy of Sweden. We are very, very grateful. And in addition to that, the co-conveners and the exhibitors and all of you who registered and came. We wouldn't have had a conference without you. So clap for all these. The conference committee, the brainchild behind the conference, I've been privileged to be the chair, but we've had a number of colleagues, bright minds. They met every week, Kenya time, 7 to 8 on Wednesday for the last, is it 6 or 7 months? Every week. That is commitment. They woke up early and they attended the meetings. They gave the ideas of what we have achieved in this conference. Let's thank them. I don't know whether they are here. Other than me, can you stand to be seen? Please stand. Nelly does not want to stand, but she's been the convener of this committee. Please, thank you so much. And we hope we will continue working together to make the next friends even better. All our presenters, the panelists, plenary speakers, you've done a great job. It is memorable. All the things that you have said here will guide the next steps in terms of implementation. And also we thank our service providers, the hotel. Have you enjoyed the food? Yes, and the security has been great. So thank you very much, the hotel, if they are here, and also all those who provided transport services. I enjoyed the chase car. Did you? Did you have a chase car? Oh, some people did not. Please make sure you ask for one when you're going back to the airport. The county government gave us a chase car and we didn't stay in the traffic. So thank you so much. We wish you safe travels. For those who are staying beyond now, because now Nelly has caused some fear, please go back to the beach as you plan to implement. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Travel safely.
I have nothing to say. You've given me permission to go to the beach. Thank you so much. I felt threatened at some point in my life. I felt threatened, but now I feel liberated. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's a safe space now. Thank you, Professor Osuru. Now, good people, that marks the end. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, we will dance shortly, but Linus and I just wanted to say a huge appreciation to all of you for listening to these voices for 4 consecutive days, for not getting tired, for stopping us, for saying hello, and for just being an amazing audience. I've really enjoyed being here. I'm a very big proponent. I'm super passionate about sexual and reproductive health and rights and adolescent health and well-being. So lovely to be here. Thank you, RHNK. Thank you, the sponsors, partners, everyone. And remember what some of the speakers said. It doesn't matter that we were here. What matters is what will happen after we leave this place. It's been my absolute honor. Amasi Juma, and see you again.
Merci beaucoup. Merci aux sponsors. Merci aux décideurs politiques, merci à toute la société civile ici. Grand merci. Mais tout d'abord, on va danser, on va faire une danse africaine. La danse autochtone africaine de Mombasa avant de partir. Donc, nous avons les danseurs qui arrivent maintenant sur scène pour danser. Et voilà. Merci. Merci aux sponsors. Merci à tout le monde. Merci à la francophone. Oui à la panafricanisme.
Okay.
Oui à Ubuntu.
Yay! Okay, they're making me Ugandan. Okay, bye guys. Have a nice evening. Let's meet at the beach. Yes. Thanks,
Hello. Kwanza nitoe shukrani kwa kila mja kwa mapokezi mema, muda mafunzo yoyo. Najivunia nimepata mwanga, marafiki, mapokezi mema. Natamani ningerudi ila muda umetimia. Nitazidi kuzingatia mafundisho.
Panchani muganga we fuyera huwe